Let's do this, Chicago. It's been 7 years since the Sox posted a winning record. Longer still since their last postseason appearance. But the White Sox offseason moves suggest they see a window of opportunity. Chicago not only re-signed Jose Abreu, they surrounded him with talent, signing 4 former All-Stars. Despite only winning 72 games in 2019, the White Sox have sent clear signals they are ready to contend now. Every year, a team makes the leap and announces itself on the big stage. Is this Chicago's time to shine?
What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well today. We are jumping in with some March to October. We are using the White Sox. I got a chance to use the Angels already. We already completed one with them because I want to use Mike Trout. Mostly a Diamond Dynasty guy, but I do not have the stubs to get Mike Trout. We have not pulled him, and I wanted a chance to use him. So here we are. We did the Angels, and now finally getting a chance to use the White Sox. It's been a long time coming. I've been waiting for this for a long time. As soon as the White Sox started signing these guys, I was like, you know what would be fun? March to October. I did it once at the beginning of 19, and it wasn't really replayable last year. But this year, I'm hoping for a lot more. I won't be playing it much on my Twitch channel, but this is where we're going to focus on it. We're going to get the White Sox done probably in the first month of MLB 20. I will probably do about 3 videos. This one, the second half of the season, and then the playoffs. We are doing it on Legend, so it's going to be a little bit tough. But I tried it on Legend with the Angels to test it out. We did dynamic difficulty, and it wasn't too bad. We should be okay. We're going to start off by getting a feel for the team. We got Tim Anderson leading off. And man, am I excited for this lineup. Obviously, with the coronavirus and everything getting delayed, there's a whole lot that could change between now and the beginning of the season. And obviously, we don't even know when that will be. So just getting a chance to play with all these guys hopefully holds me over until the next time we get to see them on the field. I'm currently in the process of getting the Luis Robert card in Diamond Dynasty, but for now, this should be good enough. That's back-to-back hits to start it off here. Perfect liner from Moncada, and we are going to start off with a 1-0 lead. Moncada's bumped. Let's get it. I don't know that he has quite that kind of reaction on the field, but I'll take it. If you guys haven't played March to October yet, it's a bit of a mix between franchise and season mode, where you're only playing one season, but you get a chance to simulate most of it while also having an impact on the simulated games. So when you play these kinds of games, they drop you in like the 6th inning, or they do a player lock with one of the players, and you get a chance to win the game, come back, hold them down for a 1-run lead. The situation's always different. They put you in a high leverage situation, and depending on how well you do, that'll build momentum for the rest of the week. So if I'm to come out here and put up maybe 6 runs, you get some big momentum and a blowout win, then the next like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games have a better chance of being wins for our team, despite being an underdog. And as a Diamond Dynasty fan, you also get team affinity points depending on how well you do, and that basically helps you work on a program involving a bunch of White Sox bling and White Sox cards for Diamond Dynasty. So if you are to complete this on Legend, you actually get a gold Zach Collins prospect card and a diamond Yoan Moncada card. So those cards look very sweet. The Moncada is actually called a Face of the Franchise card, so he's the representative of the White Sox. That's who they think has that sweet spot at the overall that they're looking for. Because, for instance, like the Angels, you'd think the face of the franchise would be Mike Trout, but he's actually too good to get a card at the level that they want to give it at. So they're trying to get it around an 85 to an 89. Moncada kind of fit that sweet spot. Last year, they had a really nice Eloy Jimenez Future Stars card, and I hope we see one for Luis Robert pretty soon. Currently, they also have prospect cards for Luis Robert, who I hope to get soon after this video is completed, and also Nick Madrigal and Michael Kopech just came out a couple days ago as well. Intentional walk now for Eloy Jimenez. We're going to get the bases loaded now for probably Nomar Mazara, I believe, batting 7th, possibly Luis Robert. I'm not really sure. They build the lineup for you on day 1, then you get to go back and fill out the lineup yourself. So it is going to be Nomar Mazara. I may pinch hit here, depending on who is on the bench. We got Zach Collins. We have James McCann, who looks pretty good against lefties right now. And these other guys are not great options. Engel, obviously there as a defensive replacement, although he hit pretty well against lefties last year. And then we also have Danny Mendick, who is unproven in the major leagues. So we will keep Nomar Mazara in. If this was the 9th inning and we were tied or something like that, I would 100% pinch hit with James McCann and deal with whatever situation after that. But for now, we're going to keep Mazara in since it is only the 6th inning. Tries to get me with a high slider. We managed to take it. He does have a curveball, so if it had a little bit more tilt, if he had thrown the curveball up there, I would have taken it for strike 3. There comes that curveball. Now we got bases loaded. Full count, only 1 out here. With Luis Robert on deck, who I believe has pretty good splits against lefties to start the year. Oh, he just missed it. We get a check swing. I think that's going to be called a ball. So with the bases loaded, Nomar Mazara works the walk against the lefty. And that's going to knock Danny Duffy out of the game. Glenn Sparkman coming in. 6.02 ERA last year. And now the debut for Luis Robert. Let's take a look at his card for the first time. 56 and 50 against righties. Not incredible, but since this is a franchise-based mode, these cards evolve as the year goes on. So he's starting at 56-50 right now. When you watch the second episode where we're getting towards the end of the season, you're going to see a lot of these stats up in the 70s. First pitch to Robert, he's going deep to right side, and it is going to go off the wall there. We're going to see if we can take an extra base. We are going to have one guy out at home, I believe, but with a high throw, he's actually safe. So it was a good idea to send him. Barely gets in there. But Robert, with his debut, first major league hit, first major league pitch that he sees, takes it deep to right center. If he can do that in real life, I'm okay with that. Now we got Garcia day 1, which means Madrigal is not in the lineup right now. He's not on the roster. But I would imagine, since you also are able to do call-ups this year, which you could not do last year, imagine that he'll be called up pretty soon in this mode. Deep to right for Leury, and drives in another run with Luis Robert now at third base. So we've actually managed to hit around in this very first inning. Tim Anderson is back up, driving one to the right side. That one's going to get in the gap as well. He's going to get a double out of this. Tim Anderson keeps the line moving. So he's got a hit against a lefty and a righty in this inning. And remember, this is on Legend. If we can hit like this throughout the mode, we're going to get quite a few stars from the team affinity. Yoan will be hours before the end of the week at this rate. He does pop up to the left side here. So after an incredible... Oh, never mind. I take it back. He's going to drop the ball at third. I think that's Michael Franco now on the Royals. Yeah, it is. And we're going to have first and third. That was what the Royals could not do right there, but they gave us an opportunity with Jose Abreu, who led the MLB in RBIs last year. He's going to get another chance with the runner in scoring position. Jose Abreu takes it to center field. He just missed that one, and a big crooked number 7 up on the board. And that's a really good way to start. Keuchel still dealing. I would imagine Giolito will be our opening day starter, but if it is Keuchel, I'm okay with that. Some people were a little bit concerned about the Keuchel signing towards the middle of the free agency period this year. I'm okay with it. I'm good with the Keuchel signing. I know some of his peripherals were kind of a little bit worse when he was with the Braves last year, but he did not have a spring training. And a lot of people think that even if he does do his thing, like if he's a really good ground ball pitcher, they're a little bit concerned with the White Sox infield. But with the way that they played last year, I know they had a lot of errors. Tim had a lot of errors. Yoan took a little while to get used to third base, although he finished very strong defensively. And of course, we had a Gold Glove second baseman in Yolmer Sanchez, who is no longer with the team. I think Madrigal is good enough to kind of replace Yolmer. I don't know if he'll be Gold Glove worthy, but it's not going to be a huge step down from Yolmer. If Moncada can continue to improve on his defense like we saw at the end of last year, that'll be good. And Tim, of course, he needs to have a big year defensively. In this game, he is rated around 55, which is below average for every single one of his defensive stats. That includes arm accuracy, arm strength, and reaction. I understand the fielding and the arm accuracy, but I'm very surprised to see the arm strength and the reaction so low for Tim. He needs to prove that he can do everything in terms of reducing errors and improving his metrics. And then we'll see what he can do. But even if he doesn't improve from last year, the White Sox had the #1 defense in terms of turning double plays on the infield, which is kind of interesting. I think Yoan is really, really good at getting the throw over to second, and Yolmer had a good enough arm to make some really close plays at first on those double plays. I'm not sure Tim factored into that too much, but he was pretty athletic around the bag at shortstop. So I'm looking forward to see what kind of improvements he can make. But I think this is it for him. He's got to make a big improvement in defense this year, because they may have to make some changes at short if he can't make that leap. Offensively, I think the bat will play. I know he doesn't take walks, but you throw him in the 7 spot, he's one of the best 7 hitters in the league. I think he can be a major league shortstop for a World Series winning team, but he does have work to do. Eloy with his red gloves, also a very exciting player. And what you will see in this mode is that as you go on, depending on how well you're doing, we talked about momentum before, that momentum also shows up in the stats for each of these players. Meaning, as you saw the attributes for Luis Robert a little bit earlier, they weren't anything spectacular, but you may end up seeing him with like 35 home runs or something by the end of the season without great ratings. And that's just a matter of those momentum games simulating really well in favor of these guys, even if they don't have the best attributes. So you may see some wacky stuff. I believe Mike Trout finished with like 70 home runs in my Angels Mark to October. So you may see some wacky stuff going on here, but it's only because the way that you play with these guys has such a big impact on their ratings and on their stats as well. I think we may have left Keuchel in a little too long. Really good play from Eloy in left center. If he can make that play in real life, oh my god, he will be very solid. I think Eloy has good hands. I think he'll be a solid defender. I think he's got enough speed and good enough hands to be a good defender. It's just his route running and the way he approaches the baseball is just a little bit odd. No more backup against a righty this time. We'll see if he can have some better results. Now, like I said, we get dropped into a lot of situations where it's already late in the game and you're trying to get those last few innings in, but not every moment of this mode is super intense. So right now we kind of talked a little bit about the background of the White Sox and some of the players. We will be jumping around some games. We will definitely not be playing through every single one in these videos. I will obviously have to play through them. You can't choose to simulate anything in this mode since it is so curated and there is already a lot of simulation. So you do have to play a certain amount, which the game hands you itself. But I will choose what we will put on the channel so that we can kind of keep it fresh and intense. And Luis Robert back up. He's going to hit that low and inside changeup. That looks like it's going to stay fair. And with his 92 speed, we should be into second base pretty easily right here. In fact, he will go in without a play, standing up. 2-2 count now to Leury Garcia. Runner on second base, now goes full. Next swing away, Leury's going to get on base as well. It is going to be 8-0, 2 men on bottom 8 with nobody out. Back to the top of the lineup here. Already 2 hits for Tim Anderson in the back half of this game. Up the middle for Tim. That's going to be a double play ball to the second baseman. Unfortunately, does not get the job done this time. Now with the 2-1 count, Abreu, 0-9. Moncada actually drove in another run as well. And when the season starts up, we really are hoping that this is how it goes with the White Sox and Royals. The Twins look like they're the team to beat. I'm excited about the White Sox, what they can do. I like all of their pickups. And the hope is that they can beat up on teams like this. They need to make sure that they're taking advantage of matchups. They should have the matchup against the Royals and the Tigers just about every time they go out there. Last year, that might not have been the case where there were a couple duds in the rotation. If they can kind of figure that out and right the ship, I think the offense is good enough to carry them on most days. There's a lot of young guys on the team that they kind of have to rely on, but the top of the lineup is looking a lot better. Yasmani is a big part of that. I really didn't expect to pick him up. I know the White Sox were kind of linked to him for a little while. I thought it was just kind of, rumors and stuff, but it was really cool to see them pick him up immediately after the beginning of free agency. Not just for who he is with the bat, but also because of who he is behind the plate. Maybe a discussion for another time, but I am in favor of robot umpires to some degree. But in the meantime, we do have to deal with the catcher framing and trying to make sure the umpire sees what the catcher is seeing, and maybe trying to cheat for an extra couple of strikes here and there as well, which James McCann was not very good at doing last year. He was rated pretty well defensively in some other categories, obviously a really good first half offensively as well. But the one thing that we were missing was that pitch framing, and I think we really paid for it. I remember so many times seeing Reynaldo Lopez throw a slider low in the zone, not get it called for a strike, and then he just implodes after that. So I'm hoping with Yasmani's ability to catch the baseball, frame it properly, and get some extra strikes at the bottom of the zone, we're going to see Reynaldo, just by that alone, have his ERA drop by at least half a point, and hopefully he makes the other necessary adjustments as the season goes on, and before he even has to throw a pitch in the majors this year. Keuchel, of course, and Gio Gonzalez, the guys that don't have the greatest stuff in the world, will need to use that as well to try to get the bottom of the zone working for them. So I think just by getting Grandal, I think we drop the whole staff's ERA by half a point. Just by him alone. And there we go. Take strike 3 looking. Jimmy Cordero closes out the game. Ended up being a laugher in the end. We got that opening day win, momentum spark. Pitching staff got the shutout and blowout for the win. I've never seen 3 things pop up there before. I guess it happens more often, but usually I skip through the screen. So we get 5 ticks of momentum there. You'll see it come into play here in a second. And a really good start to the season, obviously. So right there, you can see the 2 wins with flames on them to the left there. I believe that means that we might not have won the game without that momentum, but here we are. We did win those games because of that. And we can kind of go in here. We can change the lineups up if we want to a little bit. I think we're good to go for now. I am really confused about where Zach Collins will play on this team. Sounds like he might go back to AAA. Surprising to see he's got 70s in all of his fielding ratings. He's not really known to be a catcher at the moment, and I believe most major league teams, if they're looking for a trade, they don't view him as a long-term catcher. So I'm surprised to see him having much better defensive numbers than James McCann here. Overall, this pretty much is exactly how I would set the lineup for the White Sox. I don't mind Grandal being maybe a little bit higher. Later in the year, we might switch Tim Anderson down, but this is kind of how I would like the opening day lineup to look. So we're going to leave it as is. All right, so we pick it up in the bottom of the 7th here. The Franimal is up, the new DH for the Indians. Got traded to the team last year, and we got Cordero back on the mound. And we get the strikeout on the changeup on the black. It's 2 down on the inning. Cordero pitching well as always. Got really nasty stuff. 97 on that sinker right there. Followed up with 97 up in the zone with a fastball. That's kind of interesting. If you throw a low sinker at 97, usually you can throw 99 up in the zone. But this time, that one gets in on him just enough. Line out to center field for Tyler Naquin. Let's get a chance to hit now. We put up a lot of runs the last time up. Let's see what we can do here this time. Right back up the middle for Eloy. Starting off the inning just right. Looks like Adam Engel with the start today. I'm guessing it must have been a left-handed pitcher on the mound. Most likely a platoon option. But you know what? Doesn't matter. Adam Engel with a glitchy swing. This guy can do it all. If you guys are new to MLB The Show, if you're a White Sox fan that just happened across this video, feel free to check out the rest of the content as well. If you're trying to get into the game, we got a lot of gameplay tips, got a lot of ways to get better here on the channel. So if you are trying to figure out like who to use, when to use them, what pitches to throw, trying to figure out the differences between real life baseball and virtual baseball, feel free to check some stuff out. Drop some comments in the comment section below, and we'll try to help you out. 2-2 now to Garcia. His one pitch that he has confidence is the changeup right now. He's going to throw it again. That's what I was looking for, but popped it up. Looks like Danny Mendick was in the leadoff spot today. So that means Leury was still in the lineup, but so was Mendick, so I'm not sure where he was playing. Maybe giving the day off for Tim Anderson. One nice thing about this mode is that they usually have pitchers ready to go as soon as you jump in, so you don't have to worry about warming up relief pitchers every time you jump into the game. Steve Cishek also a pretty big pickup for the White Sox. He might have got a little overused with the Cubs, but I didn't realize how good his numbers were. I kind of did expect them to trade for another relief pitcher, and I expect them to do that at least mid-season if the need arises. But the back end of the bullpen was pretty good for them last year. I still believe they might need a little bit of depth, but with Michael Kopech coming back and Rodon coming back, at least one of those guys will either start in the bullpen or force someone else into the bullpen, so we will have a little bit more depth there. It may end up even being that Reynaldo Lopez has to go there, but that means that maybe we don't need an extra reliever, and Cishek might have been the only move they really needed. And when hops over the head, I thought we were going to play that properly, but the tying run is going to come up to the plate here. Cishek gives up the double, but overall with Colomé and Bummer and Evan Marshall last year, nothing really went wrong for them late in the game. They only blew about 1 or 2 saves the entire year, which was pretty impressive. It was just a matter of trying to get the lead more often going into the 9th, and in that case we'll need a little bit more depth. It seemed like every time we needed Colomé or Bummer, those guys were always fresh because they were losing a little too often, so they never really had the opportunity to get overused to the point where we needed depth when we were winning games. That being said, even the good pitchers, even Edwin Diaz had a really tough time at points during last year, and you can only control what you can control. So those guys did a great job with the opportunities that they were given last year. It is so volatile with relief pitchers, you never really know what you have. So depth is always a good thing. But I have heard people a little concerned about the bullpen, and I wouldn't be too concerned. Can't make the play. The tying run comes across the score. The Adam Engel home run was pretty big. Unfortunately, Cishek did not get the job done, and I was a little slow to warm up a pitcher. So Evan Marshall, even after a good season last year, is only a 63. They gave him some pretty good velo and break. Nothing else really doing too well, though. Now that we are tied, we're going to Bummer. Probably should have done that one batter ago, but that's okay. 3 batter minimum in the game this year. And we're going to hang that cutter to Francisco Lindor. Not a good idea, but he doesn't take advantage of it. Lindor takes ball 4, and it looks like we're going to have to face Franmil Reyes. Not a good option against a lefty. Try to waste him with the back foot slider, and he checks, swings, but they call it for strike 3. We're going to get out of the inning, and we're going to face Oliver Perez to lead it off here with Moncada. First pitch right back up the middle for Yoan. We're going to get on base to start the 9th. Obviously, we need to score. If we want to take this one in regulation, we really don't want to go to extras here. Some of these ballparks in the daytime feel a little bit tough to pick up the baseball out of the pitcher's hand, but in general, Oliver Perez is always a guy that's hard to pick up. In fact, people use him on online competitive modes all the time. That one's going to get down the line for Jose. We're going to get the first 2 men on. He does cut it off in left field, so we're going to have to stay at first and second. Nobody out, though. Middle of the order coming up, so it's not going to be a bunt situation. Maybe if I was Ricky Renteria, I would be bunting with Zach Collins, but against a lefty, I think we're going to go ahead and pinch hit. Edwin's hitting behind him. We will go to Yasmani Grandal. James McCann also an option, but Grandal's going to be the pick right here. This is one of my least favorite ballparks to hit in. I mentioned earlier that some ballparks are hard to pick up the baseball, and this is one without a true batter's eye. There's only some shrubbery in center field, and Perez comes out hard from the side there, so it's hard to pick up the baseball. Ball gets past the catcher there, and we are going to get into second and third with only 1 out, but we have whiffed quite a few times against Oliver Perez, so it's not automatic that we're going to drive this guy in, but they do need to bring in the infield, so we're in a pretty good spot. We lean into that one. We bring the hands across the plate. In fact, could have called strike 3 on us if they wanted to, but instead considered a hit by pitch. Looks like it hit him in the back hip. You don't really ever see that. Now Eloy, 67 and 80 against lefties. Very good numbers. Really good chance to break this one open. And first of all, give us the lead, but hopefully a little bit more. That ball was high in the zone, just above the zone, I should say. And we were just a little bit early. Another one up in the zone. We pull it again. Does he go up there a 3rd time in a row? He does not. He goes down low. That one looked like it was another 4-seam fastball. That time he throws me a dirty, dirty slider. And he wastes us. Inside pitch. Eloy goes down swinging. And Adam Engel, hero of the game so far. Can he put up another big hit? If you were wondering, I still cannot see the baseball, so we're kind of guessing, trying to pick up the ball out of the hand, and then time it up as soon as he releases it. That one's going to pop up to short. Lindor's back on it, makes the easy catch. And after bases loaded, we get nothing done because Oliver Perez is a cheat code. This is only an offline game, so it's not a big deal. But literally, like, this is my least favorite park. There are some parks with some lag in them on Diamond Dynasty. But if anyone ever picks this park, it makes me the most upset. Just the batter's eye is not good. And we get the backdoor cutter. It actually hung a little bit more than I would have liked, but I guess it started off the plate just enough. So Carlos Santana takes it for strike 3. We just got to deal with Oscar Mercado. He does have 60 power against lefties, which is plenty to hit home runs. So we do have to make some nice pitches here. Another cutter gets the work done. And a very quick inning there for Bummer. This is Nick Whitgren against Luis Robert. A little bit easier to pick this up, but not by much. Luis deep to left center field. And it looks like we just did miss it. Off the bat, that one looked pretty good. Leori did the gap. This one is not going to get past the outfielder, but he is going to get on base. Back to the top of the order with Danny Mendick. Got some really small diamonds there. Not the greatest hitter on the team. In fact, at this stage of the game, we are going to go ahead and pinch hit because he is such a poor hitter at this stage in the year. We're just going to go with Tim Anderson. I could go with Mazzara, but for the defensive purposes, we're going to go with Tim so we don't have to make any additional moves. And he might even be a better option than Mazzara at this stage anyway. Tim gets on top of one very early, and he's going to stay there at first base. And that brings us back to the number 2 hitter in Moncada, followed by Abreu. We got something going here. All it takes is one good swing. Home run shy of the cycle, by the way. Looks like he must have simulated his way to a triple earlier in the game. Now here in extras, a bomb could do it. I'm tempted to give him the 3-0 green light for the cycle, but it's got to be a perfect pitch. A little bit higher than I would have liked. I would have liked that a little closer to the center and a little bit lower there. There's a change up low in the zone, squared it up, but too early on it. Now with a full count, what can we do? That one's through the gap for Moncada. Not going to be a home run, but it is going to be plenty for giving us the lead. In fact, we're going to get 2 runs on this. Nice slide by Tim. And it's going to be an 8-6 lead. And Abreu's going to get a chance to add to that right here. This is the guy that they traded for Corey Kluber. Let's see if they make it worth it. A lot of people thought the Indians got fleeced for this trade, but this guy's got the stuff. He can definitely fling the baseball for sure. And he blows it right by Yasmani Grandal. But we get the 2 runs. We take the lead going into the bottom of the 9th. And Colomé is ready to go. He's going to continue to be our closer. That ball goes right through Colomé. I thought he would pick it up there, but tying run's going to come to the plate after just 1 pitch. This time he does make the play. 6 speed going up the line to first base. And despite him not having great arm accuracy, he does make the double play once again. 5 for 5 in the game for Greg Allen right here. That's one way to do it. Manager says he's going to drag bunt, but instead he swings away, pops up to the third baseman Yoan, and the ball game is over. We get that win in extras. We did blow it in the 8th inning, but we do take that win 8-6. We completed the sweep against the Indians, get a nice little card for Diamond Dynasty there, and we completed the sweep on the road in Cleveland. That would be really nice if we could do that. We talked about the Tigers and the Royals before, but Cleveland, if they're not ready to go, we hopefully can take advantage of that early. It is going to be tough to go against the Twins. As you saw, we just swept the Red Sox as well. And now going back home against Seattle. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. That's the beginning of March to October with the White Sox. We are already 9-2. We only played those 2 games. The simulations really helped in our favor. We are playing this on the hardest difficulty, so that means we'll get a lot of rewards, including a Diamond Yoan Moncada card if we win the World Series, or at the very least have a really good season. So if you like this video, leave a thumbs up. If you are from the White Sox community and haven't really played much of MLB The Show, let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to say hi, and we'll see how often we can do videos like this and more White Sox content on the channel. Again, subscribe if you're new, drop a like if you haven't already. All of the links are in the description below, and I will see you guys soon.